Alright, so this is going to be a very long video of me doing every single boss in the game on Radiant, except for two of the bosses which don't have a Radiant mode. So I just did those under their normal context in the game as a no-hit run. I'm going to be going over like all the different strategies I use for everything and basically just explaining like how I found the best way to do everything. This fight is absolutely nothing used to anybody. A lot of the fights, not a lot of them, but a few of them I didn't actually use the Strength Charm for. Well, Strength Charm is a charm that you should always use if you exist and enjoy existing. Because, lots of reasons. It increases your damage, I'm not sure exactly how much, but it's enough that most of the bosses that otherwise would be quite an issue aren't really an issue. So there was a dream boss in particular, Fail Champion I believe, where not having Strength Charm was incredibly bad because you had to actually fight him. Whereas if you did have Strength Charm, you didn't really have to fight him. But anyway, this is the Vengefly boss battle. There's nothing much to really be said about it. Kill those little minion guys whenever you get the chance to. I basically used the same setup for almost every single boss. I'll tell you specifically if there's a boss I didn't use this for. But I basically always had Quick Slash, Strength, Mark of Pride, and Dash Master, I believe. I know not many people actually use Dash Master. That's one of the charms that I put on near the very beginning of the game when I first got it, and I just never really took it off because it seemed so useful. But, I don't know. A lot of people don't really use it, and I don't really know why. It's really good for mobility and just being able to dodge things at like any time. It's especially good for some of the boss fights in this. I can see using a magic build for a lot of these because magic is the heaviest damage dealer in the game. Abyss Shriek specifically, so anytime I do an upwards attack, that's the best way to deal damage to anything. This fight is very short if you have Strength Charm, but I did not. There's not too much to it. I actually find this mode easier than his Attune mode, where he has like a platform that he sits atop. Just because there's nothing, like there's no terrain that you have to really deal with, although he can walk over you, which is kind of bad, but not really. It's basically just dash away anytime he jumps at you, and anytime he does that like geyser looking thing where he just does like right there. Like he just did a spread above me, just jump over him, go to the other side and wail on him until he is about to start striking back. There's nothing particularly hard about this. Yeah. I have an hour left to just sit here and talk about boss fights, so that's gonna be fun. I'm not going to do this in one take. At all. That would be terrible. So, this guy, use Strength and Quick Slash on him and he will never be able to attack you. And that's the end of that. Like, you will take him out before he's capable of attacking you, ever. And right here you'll see in just a second, a lot of stuff is going to start falling from this guy. I didn't realize this, but you can actually slash at those with your sword to make them bounce off. So that's one, an easier way to dodge them, and two, you can actually launch those in his direction to deal damage even when you're out of range of him. I didn't know that. That would have been really, really useful to know, especially in one situation that you'll see near the end of the video. His dream fight's gonna be just after this, but I have a few, like, bloopers, I guess, near the very end. They're just like, you know, little clips I thought were funny. so I decided to put it in there. Anyway, this guy is not hard. He's one of the first bosses you fight in the game. It was actually the first boss that I fought, but a lot of people say that Gross Mother is their first boss. Yeah. You can actually hit him with the Dream Nail, his suit of armor, while he's down. It's like once his head pops off, you can hit him twice with the Dream Nail, then smack him once, then hit him one more time with the Dream Nail, then smack him again to, like, get him back into fighting mode. So yeah, right here. Typically he does, like, his temper tantrum attack that you'll see in just a minute. Or, I'll talk about this part first. This part is fairly trivial, not really. You have to go through this every single time. You can't deal enough damage for him to, like, to not have to deal with him during this. But every time he goes into this phase right here, he does, like, a little temper tantrum attack. And you should have got off a bunch of hits during this, and you should have been, like, shooting meteorites towards him. So that basically once he starts, like, going back into his regular cycle and doing regular attacks, you should have done enough damage at that point that you can just keep wailing on him for just a second longer, and he can only deal, like, one more attack, and sometimes he doesn't deal an extra attack at all. However, I didn't have Strength Charm equipped, because I didn't know how good the Strength Charm was. So this fight was actually hard for me. By hard, I mean 2.5 hours. As I was quite upset at one specific moment that, again, you'll see at the end of the video. So that's gonna be great. If you get bored, by the way, watch the end of the video. That's, like, the only part worth watching if you don't care about any of this other crap. Trust me. Anyway, you can also, while he's jumping over you, I've developed a habit of jumping up and slashing upwards at him once while he's doing that. It's fairly safe as long as you don't get too ridiculously close to him. Yeah. I wasn't incredibly experienced at this when I was doing this fight. In fact, there were several times where I started doing the Godmaster DLC stuff, and then, like, left and came back to it later. This guy also has a lot of weird attack patterns. It's like, you can see the distance I'm standing away from him here. That's so that if he jumps at me, I can dash in his direction that he was standing, and he will go over me every single time, and I don't really have to worry about it. Otherwise, if I was standing farther away, he would jump, like, slightly in front of where I was, so if I dashed, I would just dash right into him, and that's bad, so don't do that. But hey, if you want to do this without Strength Charm, then you're an idiot, but go ahead. This is the Hornet fight. Very hard fight when you first get to it, very easy fight when you've done anything else at this point, honestly. I struggled with this fight a little bit when I first got to it, but, like, doing it with Shade Dash and Dash in general and all sorts of crap made it, like, this was very, very easy. There's also a thing where I'm not sure if this version of Hornet can do it, but I know the second version of Hornet can actually just kind of get stuck in the left or right wall. I don't know why, but she just kind of gets stuck and can't move or attack you, and you can wail on her and kill her. I actually killed myself multiple times when that happened because it was annoying and I wanted to actually fight her. I also cannot remember if I had Strength Charm equipped during this. I don't think I did. But this one right here, this is actually hard. So when I got to this in the main game, it was pretty damn hard, but when I got to this here, it was still pretty challenging. The main thing about this is you have to know what her stagger is. Her stagger is 6, and I'm told that every stagger after that consecutively is 5. I don't know. But if you hit her 6 times in the span of however long, like, if you attack her, a timer will go, and if that timer stops, then whatever counter you're at gets reset. But if you can get that thing all the way up to 6, then she'll stagger and just won't do anything for a minute. And that's really good, because if you can hit her 6 times consecutively fast enough, then she just barely attacks you. So do that. If you're far away from her, shoot a magic attack. If you're close up to her, just wail on her with Quick Slash. I'm also going to be kind of like talking with these bosses, assuming that you have the same charm setup as me. Or just in general, if you don't want to do this, which you probably don't, because everybody watching this probably doesn't play Hollow Knight, but hey, maybe I'm helping somebody out there. I don't know. Where was I going with that? Whatever. So she hasn't... I don't think she's in her second phase yet, somehow. I definitely don't have strength equipped yet. Whatever. There's a few attacks that she does where she'll say something, and depending on what she'll say, she'll do a variety of different things. She doesn't call the attack that she's using, but she'll call a attack, and you'll know that it's one of a few. I don't actually have the audio for this going right now, so I can't hear this. Also, I had, like, the reason the audio is muted, by the way, is a lot of these I had, like, keyboard mashing on, just because my mic was on. A lot of these I didn't. So I just decided to get rid of all the audio, since nothing particularly interesting happens anyway, and it's the same song for an hour. Instead, you are listening to the Hollow Knight soundtrack right now, and I found out that it's just over an hour, which is absolutely perfect for what I was doing, so hey, that's nice. Another thing you want to keep in mind with Hornet whenever you're doing it, if you don't have Strength Charm equipped like a goddamn idiot, get rid of those spike balls as soon as you can. If they're out of the way, however, then don't worry about them. Like, if a spike ball is all the way across the screen and you're currently wailing on Hornet, just ignore that spike ball until you're over to it. Just keep in mind that it's there, and that's it. There's a specific way that I fought Moss Charger until I realized you can do this. All you need is Quick Slash. Literally nothing else. That's fun. Anyway, another thing about Radiant mode and Ascended mode as well. I should probably explain this to people that don't know what I'm talking about. So all of the bosses in the Godmaster DLC, where I'm fighting these guys at their statues, they all have a attuned mode, which is basically just their normal fight. They have an Ascended mode, which is all of the bosses deal double damage, and yeah, they all do double damage, and they all have double health, except for like 3 or so that only deal double damage and don't have any extra health. And Ascended and Radiant... Let me actually finish talking about Ascended first. Ascended can also have, like, some varying things with it. So, like, this right here, since this is Ascended or above, these little guys that are coming off of it, I can normally one-shot them, but in this case, I cannot one-shot them until I've killed enough of them. I don't know why that works like that instead of just, like, always having more health or whatever. So, for the first little bit, I can't one-shot them, and that just is a random thing that buffs it a bit. There's also generally terrain differences and stuff like that. So like, if there's a lot of platforms on something, then maybe Ascended mode will have like spikes on the bottoms of the platform or something like that. Anyway, Radiant is the exact same thing as Ascended mode, except all of the bosses will one-shot you if you take any damage whatsoever. So, yeah. If you were wondering why I haven't taken damage yet, first off, you're dumb because I'm amazing. And second, that's why, because I'm playing on Radiant. There's a number of things, there's a number of bosses where they deal double damage regardless. So like, Ascended mode, they'll deal 4 times as much damage, but environmental damage will still only deal 1 damage usually. So in Ascended mode, it'll deal 2, whereas the boss itself will deal 4, and things like that. Anyway, the Mantis Lords I don't really think need any strategy explaining or crap like that behind them. Oh, by the way, Flukemarm, use Abyss Shrieks on him. It takes like 6 or something and he's dead. Like, that fast. Also, Shaman Stone, I guess. Anyway, that is a pathetically easy boss. Anyway, Mantis Lords. There's nothing to these guys really, just avoid how I'm avoiding, I guess. Shade Dash is very good. If you have not 100%ed the game at this point and gotten every ability and all of the possible health and soul shards and crap that you can get, and you're trying to do this, stop. You're dumb. Like, there's no point in that. You get literally no reward for doing all of these bosses on Radiant. You don't even get an achievement for it. I just did it because I thought it was fun. Anyway, like how the Mantis Lord song is just now playing. These are the Sisters of Battle. First one comes out, and then the other 2 come out at the exact same time. Once you kill one of them, while 3 of them are out, the other 2 will get a health boost, so you have to go through basically the original fight with 2 of them again. And then once you kill another one, the last remaining one gets a health boost, but by that point it's ridiculously easy, so you have nothing to worry about. Again, this isn't really that bad. I wouldn't recommend using magic very much. Typically, you can get in 1 sword slash, or sometimes 2, every time you dodge. And, yeah, this is just a generally really well-made fight, so I don't think it needs that much explaining, honestly. My throat's killing me. It's not much. Also, sorry I didn't have a face cam for like half of these. I can't remember why. I think I had a headache a lot of the times that I was doing this, so I don't want to have the light in my room on. Something like that. I also think I switched my face cam from the left side of the screen to the right side of the screen, because I realized that my health was being covered up, even though you don't have to care about my health in the slightest, because 1 damage equals death, but whatever. It bothered me, so I fixed it. Anyway. What else is there to talk about? These guys appear in the 5th Pantheon, if you were wondering where to actually get them. Because you won't be able to unlock them until you find them. That goes for all of the bosses, so you have to go through the first 4 Pantheons and then get to them in the 5th Pantheon. You don't have to actually kill them, just get to them. These guys are lovely and took me several years. I did these guys as one of my first Radiant boss fights because, bullet hell. And that was my only reasoning for it. I try my absolute best to keep them at roughly the same health, because once one of them dies, the other one gets a quite heavy health boost, which is bad, because it also speeds the other one up by a crap ton. Because instead of having two giant things that are dispensing bullets, you only have one, so bullets need to be faster, I guess. These guys can get desynced sometimes, and there's nothing you can really do about it, but you typically want them shooting at the same time. It's like, if they're shooting at the same time, that means that they're not shooting at the same time, which is quite nice, because you have a period of time where you can get in there and actually deal damage. When they're shooting, don't be near them. Like, you may want to get damage off, but after you die from it however many times, you'll realize it's not worth it at all. Like, you should always be more focused on dodging in the Radiant fights than dealing damage. Because even if you're not progressing, you're at least staying alive and not losing your progress, so... yeah. So, one of them's died. This is where it kind of gets to be a pain in the ass. I did this, I'm not sure exactly how long this one took me, but I was very tired of getting killed by these guys. I think I've played it pretty risky sometimes. Maybe I didn't. Yeah, like right there you can tell that, like, I knew I was going to get to there about the same time and start firing, so I wouldn't have any time to get away to dodge, so I just backed off. And don't be afraid to do that. Like, if you know that you're going to get there and it's going to start shooting at you immediately, don't take that chance. This is a very long, annoying boss fight, and it does not deserve to be long and annoying. But that's what happens when you take a fair and balanced boss fight and say, what if it lasted twice as long because reasons? Radiant mode is great. Yeah, like, you can see how safe I was playing it, because I've died to these guys so many times at this point. It's just like, I don't want to have to deal with it. I was pretty sure he died right there, but I didn't want to get close to check. So, there you go. Hive Knight is a dick. Basically, jump over everything. I know I used Shade Dash for some of his attacks. I can't remember which ones. I think his slash attack I used Shade Dash for. It's like when he just charges at me, like right there I just jumped over that, but when he like jumps up a little bit and he's about to slash at you, I would Shade Dash through that and attack him from the other side. Here's a deck, he'll take a while, just get good RNG and everything will be great. This one is not bad at all. The next one is arguably a little bad. There's nothing specifically wrong with this guy. He does that attack every so often. And he does it so ridiculously rarely that it will just screw you over most of the time that he does it. Because he doesn't do it often enough to try and keep it in mind. Whatever. Where is it? There we go. This. I equipped Defender's Crest and did this second try, after doing this for like an hour or two. So, use Defender's Crest. Defender's Crest is a charm that basically makes that like stink cloud effect, which is quite nice because as you just saw right there, it kills the orange dudes for you every so often. And the orange dudes are the only reason that this is a god-awful fight. This would have been perfectly fine if they didn't exist. But the amount of RNG that goes into those little things is so awful. Also, whenever he does like a downwards attack like that, it's... as long as you're continuously moving when it starts and when it finishes, you can dodge it just fine. I would recommend Sprint Master to help you dodge that without using up your Shade Dash. Because that's another thing, you barely want to use Shade Dash while you're doing these, unless you need to. There's like... because when you need Shade Dash, you absolutely need it, but if you don't quite need it yet, it can make a lot of attacks easier to dodge. But if you dodge an easy attack using Shade Dash, and then it's like, hey, here's an attack that you absolutely need Shade Dash for, but you don't have it because it's still recharging. That's bad. Also, Nosk. Everyone likes Nosk. Yeah. It's actually easier without his platform in the center. Just jump over him most of the time. Try not to dash through him ever, because that doesn't really work unless you have Sharp Shadow. And I don't use Sharp Shadow. I don't think it's worth it. Because, like, if you jump over him, it does basically the same thing, because you typically want to down slash while you're jumping over him. Wing to Nosk is a lot easier than normal Nosk. It also has those little orange things spawning, but I actually don't care about those at all in this fight. This is basically like Vengefly, except more annoying. There's nothing you particularly have to watch out for, besides the fact that Wing Nosk's hitbox is ever so slightly way larger than you would think it is. And it's just generally weird. So as you can see, like, every time, jump over him, down slash. I think I tried to slash him in midair to the left or right a few times, but that didn't end up working, so I would just use a magic attack in his direction every time. Or every time I had enough soul to do it, at least. Yeah, this fight's dumb, but it's not that hard. Glad regular Nosk is not in the 5th Pantheon. Collector. Extremely easy fight. If you're playing Steam, apparently. Because apparently, if you're not playing Steam, you cannot one-shot the little dudes that come down from the jars here. Because this is Ascended mode, they are buffed enemies that come out of those jars, and they're much worse to deal with than the normal Collector enemies. But I'm playing on Steam, so I can one-shot them with Strength Charm equipped. So, yeah. Deal with those as fast as you can. As you can see, every time they fell down, I slashed at them like the moment they existed, so not really an issue. Stay really close to the Collector and he'll jump over you pretty much every time. Here, if you're having trouble with the God Tamer, and when I say the God Tamer, there's a difference between the God Tamer and that beast thing. You can parry the God Tamer very easily, and you can also kill the God Tamer, I found out recently, actually. You can kill the God Tamer, you don't have to. All you have to kill is the beast to actually win the fight, but if you find the God Tamer annoying, then you can do that. The beast itself will roll at you and land exactly where you're standing when it bounces off of the wall. So if it bounces off the wall, you're standing in the middle and you dash towards, like, the left wall, then it will land in the middle, not the left wall. This dude. I paused right there. I cut out where I was paused for like 30 seconds or something. I don't remember why. Just wail on him for a minute. He has like almost no health. There you go. Fight done. Super hard. I used the Monarch Wings for him a little bit because I don't particularly know the timings. But for this guy, as soon as you see that laser, if you jump, you don't have to use the Monarch Wings, which means you'll land faster, which means you can deal more damage to him. And again, he has barely any health, so dealing more damage to him is nice for like a 30-second fight. Okay, now my throat's starting to die because I've been talking for half an hour now. This is Umu. Everyone likes Umu. Everyone. Water is the greatest thing that exists. Okay. When Umu first pops up, I recommend standing on that left platform, like, right to the left of where I currently am, or I guess you can stand on the right platform too, and dream knowing him, like, twice or so, and you can get a lot of soul that way. That way you can kill him faster. As I don't really have any tips for this, the jellyfish are dicks. Use magic as much as you can. Things like that. This is a terrible fight, and I don't know why it exists. Actually, don't fight him like this in the normal game. In the normal game, you don't have these jellyfish that you have to make explode on top of them. You have this other dude that, like, puts him into that form for you. And that's quite a bit nicer, because it's actually not horrible. And you don't have to actually do anything actively to put him into that form. So that's nice. Also, if you're just doing this on like Ascended mode or Platoon mode even. Jellyfish explosions do double damage, so be wary of that. That's the thing. It sucks. Also, if he's calling jellyfish and you throw a jellyfish into him, apparently he's immune to jellyfish while calling jellyfish. Which is dumb. Incredibly dumb. Whatever. This guy has like a weird orange disc attack, which he will never do if you stand close to him. Dash through his attacks every time he dashes at you. Walk to the left or right every time he does that jumping attack, and you should be perfectly fine. Get just a little bit away for those like shockwave attacks. This guy has very little health. And the hardest attack to dodge he will never do as long as you stay pretty close to him. So, apparently there's a thing where you can kill this guy 10 times if you go to the statue where you normally find him. And every time you fight him, he either spawns more things or deals more damage. And I did that! And I never once no-hit this fight. But hey, I did this and I no-hit it. There's a lot of tips for this actually. You want to be wailing on him as much as you possibly can, deal as much damage as you can, crap like that. Right here. You see how he fell, like, kind of to the right of me? That is dead random, so you want to dash away from him as soon as you see him falling. You don't want to preemptively dash, because you can end up dashing into him. Yeah. His running attack, which isn't even attack, he just kind of moves in your general direction, is very bad because it's unpredictable and crap. And his sword flailing attack is also comes at you extremely fast and is hard to deal with. You can just pogo off him for a little while. Be careful while you're pogoing on him because he will trip and fall and that'll make his hitbox slightly lower. And slightly lower hitbox is bad because while you're pogoing, if you expect him to be a bit higher than he is and he's not, then you'll miss your pogo and you'll fall into him and die. So yeah, that's the thing. This guy is totally irrelevant. I thought this was a mini-boss when I first got to it. I don't know why it's a boss here. I really don't. He just kind of exists. And no one one cares. That's fun. This guy. I've seen a lot of people fight this guy. And if I can give any advice whatsoever that you can take away from this to be better at this fight, be way more aggressive fighting this guy than you are. Take shots every possible opportunity. Learn his attacks. Know exactly how many times you can hit him per attack. You can usually hit him a few times while he's teleporting and shooting balls at you. He will also normally teleport left and right on the screen, so if he teleports to the right and you don't think you can make it in time to hit him again, go a little bit over to the right, but not too far, and then start going back to the left as soon as he teleports that way. For right here, you can jump up, slash at him once, and then dash. It looks a lot less safe than it is. That works every time. Just jump up, slash, dash, it'll work. That's not the case for the next fight, for the dream fight, but I'll explain that when we get there, which is right now. I'm gonna drink water first. Remember when I said that I wouldn't do this in one take? That was a great time. It's like another thing right here, just kind of study the way that I'm attacking him. It's like right here, I can get 4 hits in, I believe. And I do the same exact pattern every single time I do that. I've seen a lot of people where they only like slash once and dash out of that. That's really bad, because you can get a lot of hits off during that. And this guy takes a really long time to fight if you're not being really aggressive with it. Anytime he's stunned like that, I forget what the actual term for it is. Staggered is the actual term for it. Anytime he's staggered like that, I recommend doing an Abyss Shriek, because I think that'll hit twice every time. Always use the Monarch Wings for that if he does a teleport while he's falling. Like, he'll teleport above you like he's about to fall, and then he does fall, and then he teleports back, like right there. If he teleports back, just use the Monarch Wings, jump again. It'll be fine. If he does not do the extra teleport, then don't use the Monarch Wings. Right here, you want to dash as soon as he teleports. It's like, you don't want to wait till the last minute. That doesn't work. I don't really know why. But as soon as he appears, just dash, and that'll dodge it, usually. You do have to get a little lucky for whatever reason. I don't really know why. Anyway, also, it's better if if for this phase right here, it's better if he is on the ground, because you can, like, hit him a lot faster and easier. But you don't always have that luxury, so whatever. This guy and his Dream Formed can be cheesed. A lot. I will talk about that in the next one, I think. Maybe. Yeah, sure, why not? Steady Body is quite nice for this, because while he's throwing balls of dung at you, you can stand just outside of his radius and just keep attacking him. Here, it never occurred to me that you could just jump up to hit him while he's in the air and then fall down a little and hit him again, because hitting him twice there is actually very tough timing. But whatever. So Steady Body is quite nice for when he's throwing dung balls at you. I typically like wailed on him during that anyway, but just like corrected my positioning every single time, which was dumb. I don't remember if I actually used the cheese for this fight or not. I did. So, as you can see, as long as he doesn't touch the ground, you can keep doing this. sometimes he does a jump so where he's moving too fast. And right there, he hit the ground and I whacked him up again, but I immediately moved away because I was concerned about him diving back downwards. Because he'll do that if he's touched the ground too many times. And 2 times is the minimum that it takes for him to dive back down. So I just wanted to play it safe and get away from him. This! Use Quick Slash and Strength. There's no getting around that. Unless you want to get around that, then you're dumb. Whatever. You can hit him like 4 times, usually. 3 times if you want to be safe. Don't hit him 4 times. I hit him 4 times most of the time. It's just dumb. It's dumb. I lost a lot of runs trying to get in extra hits, and that was like... I know it's worth it, because I'm done now. And this video is like multiple seconds shorter because of that. Like, at least 4 seconds. So hey, totally worth it. Anytime you use a magic attack, make sure you're hitting both of them. You can dash through them with Shade Dash every so often. Basically you just want to have them both on screen as much as you can. So like if one of them is on screen, one of them is off screen, that's bad, but as long as you're listening for him and you can like as long as you know what he'll do, I guess. Not really what he's going to do, but like what he's capable of doing, just keep that in mind and he should be relatively fine. Maybe, I don't know. That's a nice thing where they can roll towards you and somehow get caught on the wall that they're currently on and screw up everything. It's also really important to know what the animations of them, like, about to roll or bounce or whatever, like, what those look like before they actually start rolling or bouncing or slashing. So, yeah. What else do I talk about? Shout out to water. I've been talking for 40 minutes. I actually had quite a lot of practice with these guys before I started doing them on Radiant mode, because I was practicing for Steel Soul mode. So that's nice. Steel Soul mode was great. I love the part where I died 6 hours into a run. No eyes. No eyes, no purpose, no reason to exist. I hate this boss. This boss is pointless and stupid and dumb and takes too long. No eyes will teleport depending on how much damage you do. So, if you hit her once with a very powerful attack, she's very likely to teleport away. She will always teleport away, but the more damage you deal per strike, I think the more likely she is to go away, so magic isn't extremely effective during this. Which also means that you don't always have to focus on the Abyss Shrieks, you can use like horizontal attacks too, I know, and those are cool. Yeah, this is just like, this boss is dumb. It takes too long. You spend the entire fight trying to get to her to attack her. I don't know whose idea this was. This. Get in a corner and use Steady Body. I didn't actually use Steady Body for this. I just corrected my position every time. Because I was really, really used to doing that and I didn't care enough to go get my new charm set up. Very easy boss. You can take it out with the Abyss Shrieks, I believe. It also has incredibly weird physics, so sometimes it'll just not bounce off your sword when you hit it. sometimes it'll bounce the wrong way off of the wall. Sometimes bouncing on the ground will speed it up exponentially. I don't know why. It's dumb. Zero exists. He's an alright boss. There's nothing wrong with him, really. I think I just stayed in the middle platform most of the time. And then every so often I went to the other sides because I was bored and this boss is bad and... It's not bad, it's just like not engaging. You're just kind of sitting there waiting for it to be over. It's not hard enough to care, I guess. Abyss Shrieks are also quite nice for this. I would save the Abyss Shrieks till its last phase, just so you can be in its last phase for less time. There is like an invisible ceiling sort of thing above him, so if you slash upwards, that's typically better because he won't really take any knockback. But at the same time, I guess if you knocked him to the left while he was moving right, then you would have more time that he's in range of you, so you could attack him more. I don't know. This strategy here is to get lucky. I have nothing else to say about that. This guy is dicks. I realized that he was caught on that platform right there. I wailed on him. And then I won. And yeah, you can see my face cam in this one. I was quite happy about that. I had spent so long on that guy. This guy basically doesn't exist. Upward slash and Abyss Shrieks. You're good. Let's talk about Markoth a little bit more. So if you don't want to go with the get lucky strat, then basically what I did that didn't really work all that much was I basically just stayed right on top of him as often as I could and just pogoed on him the entire time, and if his shield came around, then just pogo a little early to get over his shield, because you can also pogo off the shield. Gore basically doesn't exist either. Just dodge and hit him and be a competent human being and you should be fine. Yeah. But nothing I really did against Markoth actually ever worked. So I got lucky there and I was like, you know what, that's fine. Like, whatever. It's not impressive because I got lucky, but hey, I've been... Actually, I think I was fighting Markoth for 3 or 4 hours. Because I know it was over multiple days, at the very least. Anyway. What was I talking about, besides Markoth? Oh yeah, I did Descending Dark into a pit right there and died as I won, and it still counts, so yay. I wasn't actually sure if it still counted as a win, so doing that was quite dumb, but I didn't really care because it was still working. Just fighting it. But hey, I got hit in this video, so woo. You guys can make fun of me now. This guy's dumb. That's fun. Shade Dash is important here. That's about it. Don't use Abyss Shrieks if you can. Because Abyss Shrieks leave you vulnerable to things spawning above you. Or you can use Abyss Shrieks and just get lucky, I don't really care. This took Goliath. Luckily I had a bunch of practice from this already because I had to practice for the first Pantheon. I basically just sat there and tanked it without actually tanking anything. I don't think I really had too much of a strategy here. Anytime you use your magic attack, again, you want to hit both of them at the same time. They'll get into, like, sprees of this where they'll just, like, One of them will dash at you, do 2 attacks, one of them will dash at you, do 2 attacks, etc. When they do that, you don't have to keep track of who is about to do their special attack, or like where they are. Just know the general positions when they do their special attacks. Because if they're doing their special attack and they're like pretty close to you, it's probably going to be the tornado dude. Like right there, that's probably tornado dude. Yep, there we go. If they're pretty far away from you and they're about to do a special attack, then it's probably the dash guy. Yeah, like right there, dash. There you go. Apparently, and I don't know why this is the case, but 99.99999 whatever percent of the time, you're going to kill the dash slash guy first. Apparently you can kill the tornado guy first, though. I thought it was the case of doesn't matter which you kill, the remaining one will just switch over to the tornado. Apparently not. So that's a thing to know. I actually did this Radiant fight while I was practicing for the second Pantheon, just because I wanted to be very good at it, because I was really, really tired of losing to this guy. Because I had lost to him a number of times, equal to a lot. I'm gonna die. I just practice this guy a bunch, know what colors his attacks are. More importantly than knowing what his attacks colors are, like right there you saw purple, he was obviously going to do a purple attack. The main thing about most of these bosses is you have to know like the general positions that the bosses are in when they're about to do a certain attack. So you can predict it way before it actually happens. It's like he was very far away from me right there and he did the yellow attack. Well, he's not going to do the blue attack like far away from me because he's not going to hit me. So, you know, he's probably going to do the yellow one because it'll go all the way across the screen. He jumps above me. Every time he jumps above me, he's going to do the red attack. Anytime he charges up an attack like that, it's going to be purple. And anytime he does blue, it's pretty instant, so that's really hard to deal with. I almost died right there, I just realized. Fun. I'm gonna cough now. Okay. This guy, I think I was actually being kind of greedy during this fight, just because I wanted the fight to be a little shorter for the video, and I didn't consider Sly a very hard enemy. If he got off screen like that, you know he's going to do the dash slash when he does that. If he's standing, if he's standing like pretty close to you, but not right next to you, and he charges up, he's going to do a dash slash, not dash slash, the great slash. The strategy I used when I first beat this guy though, which is the safe way, you only attack him here. It's like when he does the tornado attack, you can pogo off of him, which is kind of risky sometimes because you always want to get at least 1 or 2 strikes on his actual blade. But right here, where he does 2 slashes and then like jumps up above you in a spin and then lands, right here. You can hit him twice after that if you have quick slash, so that's pretty much the only time you want to attack him. Besides when he does the dash slash, you can jump over that and then hit him once and back off. And when he does the great slash, you can dodge that and hit him once. And it'll take a little while, but it's not that bad. Like, it's not nearly as long as you'd think it is, because he doesn't have a ton of health. He just has very little openings. Also, there's another one where I'd recommend Sprint Master if you want to walk away from these attacks, because you can walk away from these attacks most of the time. But I don't recommend walking away from those, so there you go. Basically, wherever he is, you want to be facing away from him, so like as soon as he gets to my right, you can see I turn to the left. just so that when I dash, I don't have to worry about pressing the direction I need to go first. I can just dash and I won't accidentally dash into him. So once he gets right next to me, or once I think he's about to teleport right next to me, teleport, jump, whatever, just dash away from it, wait until he stops, and then move back into it. Mark of Pride and Longnail help here quite a bit. I didn't use Longnail, I just used Mark of Pride for most of these. And this is not actually a boss in the Radiant section. So I just had to do Hollow Knight, where you regularly find him in the game, except just no-hit him. And having done Pure Vessel before this took me a whopping 2 tries. I really didn't think I was going to do this in one take. I don't know how I've been talking for this long. Anyway, there's nothing much to be said here, because I didn't learn much from this fight. I can tell you a lot more about Pure Vessel, but I didn't really study this fight very hard, because again, only twice. While he's stabbing himself, you only deal 1 damage, so don't bother doing magic attacks. And there you go. Now, this guy actually is in the Hall of Gods like normal. This is Pure Vessel, basically the same thing, except not even remotely close to the same thing. This is my favorite fight in the game. I love it to death. So basically, anytime he does that attack, I'll dash into it when it gets to me. When he does the triple slash, never dash into that, but I did, so whatever. I'm waiting until he actually does his attack so I can talk about it easier. He dashes towards me, I always dash through him, and then dash immediately backwards. You can also do a spell back at him when he dashes towards you. I did that while I was practicing for the charm bindings, because I needed to deal extra damage. When he does the triple slash right there, always jump up and pogo off of one of his slashes, and that'll give you enough height to go to the other side of him. And the reason you want to do that is because if he does a dash at you directly afterwards, the dash is way harder to jump over. And you don't have enough time to get the shade dash back, so you have to jump over it. So you want to just, instead of jumping over it, you want to just be able to dash through it like normal. So if he does the triple attack, just parry, pogo over him. Also you have to learn where he spawns when he's about to do certain attacks. So if he's a specific distance from you, you have to know what he's about to do. Grimm is a pretty easy boss. When you first get into his fight, don't hit him while he's bowing, wait for him to teleport away and start doing other things, because I'm gonna cough now. I'm gonna die. If you hit him once while he's bowing, then he'll do this bullet hell attack right here, and it just takes longer and it's unnecessary. I'm not sure if his bullet hell attacks in his normal form correlate to how much health he does, but I'll talk about his bullet hell attacks in the Nightmare King Grimm phase. I didn't learn a ton about this. I can tell you a lot more information about Nightmare King Grimm though, just like Pure Vessel versus Hollow Knight. A Pantheon 5 strat here is whenever he's doing that, you can do Fish Shriek right under him. Damage will stop your Fish Shriek, so be careful of that. Make sure you've taken damage first if you want to do that. Like, yeah, purposefully take damage in Pantheon, why would you do that? You'll understand if you start doing the 5th Pantheon, and if you've done the 5th Pantheon already, you know exactly why. The 5th Pantheon is literally just about getting through everything as fast as humanly possible, and actually trying on the last few bosses. There's no reason to try on the first, 30 or 35 bosses. which is incredibly dumb, but whatever. Yeah, just know when to attack him, know how to dodge. I wasn't really talking about him much here, but I can explain much more in Nightmare King Grim biz, so there you go. Most of this applies to regular Grim, so yeah. Glad we went through this cutscene every single time I find this guy. I dash through him every time he does that, and I stand under or between the second and third fireball to the right. Whenever I'm dodging that fireball attack to the left, I stand between the first and second one, because it actually goes far longer. Like, the fireballs go out much farther on the right side than the left side, so you have to be careful with that. He did the bullet hell attack, so that means he's at 75% health. Don't try to attack him during that phase where he charges at you from the ceiling, then charges again and leaves a fire trail. That cost me a lot of runs, because he stands up at the very end of that, and that's bad, because that makes his hitbox bigger. You can hit him a lot here if you walk slowly towards him while you're near him. Like, you can see where you could dash to the right and pogo off of him a few times, but he stands up, and that usually makes you take damage. He does his bullet hell attack here again, so he's at 50% health now. He does it at 25% health increments every time. So you can keep up with him that way, like how far you are. Jump over the first dragon there, shade dash through the second one, and you'll be right on top of him to start dealing damage. Also, whenever he like slashes at you like that, I always dash through him, turn back, whack him once, and then dodge where the fireball positions are, according to left or right. Okay. Like, see right there, I went between the first and second to the left. And if he goes to the right, then I'll go through the second and third. So yeah, just go very slowly there. You can also use magic if you can. He's at 25% health now. It's not much to really be said about the bullet hell attack, just dodge and don't suck. That right there, I screwed that up kind of bad, and I tried to shade dash at the last second to like, fix that. That was really risky, but it worked out. Like, I screwed up by accident, but the game just kind of let me off with a warning, I guess. So, hey. Yeah, right there. I think that's about it for Nightmare King Grim. I love this boss. A lot. Very, very well designed. Very well designed boss. Yes, I agree. I agree with myself. Really. Wouldn't have guessed. Water is a great invention. This is the regular Radiance, not Absolute Radiance. This is not the Hall of God Radiance. This is regular Radiance. So this is the one after you fight Hollow Knight, which I had to fight in the main game because Hollow Knight is also not in the Hall of Gods for some reason. Which I think is stupid, but hey. I actually did this after Absolute Radiance, so this was outrageously easy. I will talk much more about this in the Absolute Radiance fight, but this is the most pathetically easy goddamn thing ever. Not really, not at all. Stand on that platform, because it'll spawn right above you, and you can just, like, slash upwards a whole bunch and do abyss shrieks and crap like that. Anytime these orbs are coming at you, you try, every single time, you want to lead them into a platform as best as you can, because if they don't hit a platform and they're still coming at you, that's extremely bad, because you are very unlikely to actually be able to dodge them. You only have to hit them once there, so I didn't really care at all. Oh yeah, that's like the only part of the video is better, because there was just like a cutscene sort of thing. This is done. have a lot to say about this and not a lot of time to talk about it. There's the last boss that is going to be shown in this video. I used Sprint Master for this specific fight. I think I also used Shaman Stone, whatever the thing is that makes your magic attacks buffed. And this is the only fight in the entire game that I was overcharmed for, because that's how ridiculous this stupid fight is. I spent, at minimum, 14 hours doing no-hit practice for this thing. It looks about the same difficulty as regular Radiance. It's not. Every single Sunbeam attack, you don't have... If it spawns directly on top of you, it's going to come out before you have the chance to move out of the way. Those 3 Sunbeam attacks that it does there never spawn right on top of each other consecutively. Here you can see me trying my best to get the sunballs onto the platforms. I'm just doing everything I can to deal as much damage to them as fast as possible. I think this is like the 3rd or 4th time that I made it to the Ascension phase. This is technically a 5-phase boss. Most people see it as a 3-phase boss if they're not no-hitting it, because why the hell would they see it as anything more complicated than a 3-phase boss if they're not trying to no-hit it? Anyway, the Ascension phase is ridiculous and stupidly RNG heavy. I had a strategy that I used for this last phase, but I basically totally abandoned it for this because it never really worked out very well. And also I was nervous as hell. So, yeah, bye. Fucking finally! That took like 14 hours! God! Oh my god, that was my first time making it to the last phase. I made it to the Ascension phase like 2 or 3 times. Oh god, I said 14. That's an underestimate. Like, it took longer than that. Holy crap. Like, 14 hours is an underestimate for no-hit practice. Not including the amount of practice I put in to actually just beat it once in the 5th Pantheon. Holy crap. Oh my god. I didn't realize how close I was until, like, I didn't realize how close I was until I was, like, right there, and then my heart just started pounding so hard. No! Can I? Alright. I am going to raid someone. I think I see who I'm going to raid already. Maybe. gonna die. This is a 10 out of 10 game. I had a Game Grumps video playing in the background during that whole thing.
I had no idea you were so good at baking, Natsuki.
Well, you know.
Does she have a tiny green tooth all of a sudden? Why? Why?
She really does.
Why is that?
Just hurry and take one.
Sayori grabs one first, then Monica. I follow, then Natsuki, then this guy named Fred.
I'll eat one of these cupcakes once I'm done eating this single pea that's attached to the top of my mouth. Just can't get rid of it. It's delicious.
Sayori talks with her mouth full and has already managed to get icing on her face. Ooh, scandalous.
Show it, draw it.
I turn the cupcake around on my fingers, looking for the best angle to take a bite.
Oh my god, this is riveting.
Natsuki is quiet. I can't help but notice her sneaking glances in my direction. Is she waiting for me to take a bite? I finally bite down. The icing, the icing is sweet and full of flavor. I wonder if she made it herself.
It's clearly poisoned.
This is really good. Thank you, Natsuki.
Why are you thanking me? It's not like I
Haven't heard this somewhere before.
made them for you or anything.
It's a meme. I don't know if you're familiar with it.
Oh, I didn't.
It's not like I like you or anything.
Oh.
Like a very typical tsundere thing to say.
Yeah, thing that you're about to betray the fact that you super like the person.
Yeah.
Totally. I've done that a million
I
times.
thought you technically did. Sayori said,
Well, maybe, but not for you, you know, dummy.
all right, Jesus.
Fucking, you blew it already.
I give up on Natsuki's weird logic and dismiss the conversation. Yuri returns to the table carrying a tea set. She carefully places a teacup in front of each of us before setting down the teapot next to the cupcake tray.
You keep a whole tea set in this classroom? That's you. Sorry.
Oh, that's me.
Don't worry, the teachers gave us permission.
Sorry I did an impression of you just a second ago.
Was it accurate? After all, doesn't a hot cup of tea help you enjoy a good book?
I guess?
Why do kind of one of my nips show through this jacket, but definitely not the other one?
I think it's just how it's shaded.
Oh, in that case, Dan looks like a fucking creeper now. Cool.